morning guitar. Last class we learned about notes on 3 strings, and we did the 3-string review. So take note of page 11. This is going to be our cheat sheet guide. This is where we'll come back to find all of the notes that we've learned so far. What we're going to do is apply this knowledge now to exercise 23. And like with any exercise that we do, the first thing we want to do is go through and identify the notes. First, we can see that exercise 23 is quite a long exercise. It's one of the longest ones we've done. Now it's 3 lines. We can see line 1 ends with a regular bar line, which means the song's not done. Line 2 ends with a regular bar line, so the song's not done. Line 3 ends with a double bar. So we said that the letters that appear above the staff are chords. They don't necessarily correlate with the note you see in the staff. In this particular example, they do happen to be exactly the same. This is the chord D and the melody is the note D. This is the chord G and the melody is the chord G. And this is the note D and the chord is D. We'll talk about playing chords later in the semester. So, for now, what we want to do is just identify the notes, physically fret them, and be ready to play them, right? So we do one line at a time, really. So I see D, and I get my hand there, ready to play, right? So it's D, 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 C, A, C, D, 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 C, A, D, F. Now, all 3 of these notes end up on different strings. And so, as we said, if it's on a different string, you can keep all the fingers down at the same time to make a nice, smooth transition. Now, another method that I don't particularly suggest would be to put in the names of the notes, right? So that's the note D. Actually, I think the way to do that would be to copy and then. So that's the note D. That's the note D. This is the note C. That's the note A. And here's another A. And here's another A. This one's a C over here. What I'm doing is copy paste feature. This is D. So I can put a D over here. And you know what? I'm not going to do it multiple times. If it's the same note, I'm just going to write it once. D, D, D. Now I got a C. That's an A. That's a D. And this over here is F, which is the first time I'm playing it. This is a crutch. I wouldn't do this personally. It doesn't allow you to submit the notes to memory. But if it's something you need to do early on, by all means, if it helps you commit to memory the notes, the visual, and where they are, that's fine. But eventually, at some point, you got to get rid of these. So I'm going to go ahead and take them out. I went through and identified the notes of the first line. I found the frets. So what I'll do is now play that first line with the metronome. 1, 2, here it is. Half note. Then I go through the same identification process on line 2. So I see the note G, and I fret them as well to get ready for it. So there's 3 Gs in a row. That's the note F. It's the note D, F. Got 3 Gs, an F, D, and then an A, and then a C. And of course, if you ever need to find the reference what those notes are, page 11, 3-string review, reference for where all the notes are. Here's how line 2 sounds. Here it is. Oh, wait, 2. Here it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 120, then, of course, not forgetting about our technique, alternating I and M, apoyando picado. The next thing to do would be to put those two lines together. So now I'm going to play line 1 and line 2 in order. 1, 2, here they go. Next line. Alright, now we go through the process of identifying the notes and the frets for the third line. So I see that I have, again, some more D, 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 C, A, C. And if you can find commonalities, what I do see is that these two measures here are the same as how the song started. D, 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 still like how the song started, but now I go up to F and back end on D. Here's line 3. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to play the whole song all the way through. 1, 2, here it is. Second line now. Third line now. And if you were to play that with a pick, remembering that our hand position changes ever so slightly, to get a little bit more around, and it would be all down picks with the pick. Here it is with the pick. 1, 2, here it is.